Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If I sound a little off today, that's because I'm actually devastated because this is a video that I really don't want to be making, but I think it's important that I do it. And I don't want to make this video super sad, but as you can see, one of my gliders is not doing well. He went to the vet this morning. That's my little attention hog. He does not like anyone getting attention besides himself. Hi, man. But one of my sugar gliders went to the vets this morning and he has medication. I've been talking to someone who's pretty much like an expert when it comes to gliders, and he still looks like that. And the hard thing is we don't know if he's going to make it. I've tried to keep him on me and I syringe fed him already, but he just really wants to be in the cage with everyone. So we're going to let him be here for a little bit. But today's video is basically all about rescue animals and the truth about buying rehomed animals. As you guys know, I've never shied away from making controversial videos, and I've always just made videos on topics that I thought were important. And the adopt don't shop movement is something I really don't agree with. I think it's great in theory, and a lot of pet tubers have come out and spoken that it's like an adopt or shop responsibly. But honestly, I think it's even less than that. Rescue animals are amazing, but there's also so much that can go wrong with them. A lot of people buy rescue animals because they think they're going to be cheaper, and maybe the adoption fee is a little bit lower or the rehoming fee, but you're probably, the care-wise, they cost just the same amount, and a lot of the times you're going to spend more on them in vet bills and things like that. As you can see, this is one of my gliders. His name is Mocha. He came to me rehomed, and I can't guarantee that everything... Oh my goodness! Oh, this is my other attention hog. Hi. And I can't guarantee that what he has is because he is rehomed, but when gliders are rehomed or rescued, you don't know what's wrong with them, and that's the hard thing, because everything I'm saying in this video is completely subjective, because there's a lot of rescues and rehomes that come from like perfectly great families and perfectly great lines, and it's just a family that couldn't take care of them anymore, and then they sadly ended up going to a rescue. But a lot of the times the truth is that the animals that are being rehomed and the animals that are found in rescues are not from people who bought them from a responsible breeder. They're just people who impulse bought an animal, probably took care of them terribly, and now they're trying to pawn it off to you. I just moved his pouch over so it's a little bit easier for him to get in and out. I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of the times the unknown backgrounds, it's not a huge deal and rescue animals can live perfectly healthy lives. But I think it's also the very real possibility that they just have lower immune systems. A lot of times they can have internal problems where different organs are enlarged. I know a lot of people, like especially with crested geckos, they don't see the point in buying like a $200 crested gecko when you can get the same one for $40. But the truth is that $40 crested gecko, even if they look the same on the outside, its lineage hasn't been tracked and it hasn't been bred with a purpose. It was probably just one person who found like a random video online, or maybe they accidentally got a male and a female, and they weren't really keeping track of heads or lineage or looking at the lines. And breeding irresponsibly leads to animals that deserve just as much of a chance as having good homes, but a lot of the times they're not as perfect as an animal that you could buy from a breeder who's put a ton of effort and money into caring for them properly. And 3 out of my 5 sugar gliders were rehomes. I don't know if you guys actually know this because I don't think I've talked about it, but I actually took in another sugar glider that I got rehomed and he came extremely sick. Like I said, there's a lot of people online who sadly just want to pawn off sick and dying animals to unsuspecting people. So I ended up buying a sugar glider that was on the verge of death, and even after tons of money and time invested in him, which I always say I would do it again in a heartbeat because he was totally worth it. But do you know what I mean? I would do it again, but it's also something that I wouldn't want anyone else to go through. And it's so hard with, especially when you're buying exotics. Dogs and cats, I feel like it's a little bit less applicable to, but exotics, there's so little known about them. And even if the information that is known, it's pretty unlikely that your exotic vet is going to know it. Exotic vets have to specialize in everything. The same person or the same vet sees like a bearded dragon, a bird, and my sugar gliders and hedgehogs, whereas regular vets just see dogs and cats. So exotic vets they're very great and they're very knowledgeable and they have their place, but a lot of times they just aren't specialized in your specific species of exotic. and a lot of the information they're going to tell you is going to be very broad and generalized. I also just want to point out that Mocha was not a new rehome. I've had him for almost a year, and we don't know what's wrong. It just happened in less than 24 hours. He got to this point, and he went to the vets this morning. So I don't know. I just want to point out that it's not just like the off chance where you buy a sick animal. A lot of these times, these issues can pop up later in life, or like I said, a lot of the times there can be internal issues, or you're just more predisposed to cancer, or they have enlarged organs or things like that. And there's something that you won't really know is an issue until it kind of smacks you in the face. And like with sugar gliders, they're going to hide their illness till the very last second. So a lot of times when you do finally catch it, it's already been going on for a while and it's too late. And as you can see, everyone else is completely healthy. So I have no idea what's going wrong. I'm going to talk to some people tomorrow and hopefully get back to the vets if that's what we agree is the best thing to do for him. And I don't know, I'm trying to be optimistic, but I'm also trying to be realistic. When you have rehomed animals, you really don't know a single thing about them. When I went to get my sugar gliders, they told me they were a year old. And then they were like, oh yeah, we've had them for like 3 years. And I was like, oh, I thought they were a year old. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, have you had them 3 years? Or are they a year old? And then she was like, oh, I don't really remember. So I don't know how you can not remember if you've had an animal 1 year or 3 years. But like I said, people rehoming and people who are sending their animals to rescues aren't the ones who did tons of research and made sure that these animals were the perfect fits for them and their lifestyle. I don't want anyone to take this as an anti-rescue video, which in a way this is. My point is, I just want people who rescue to be very aware of what they're getting themselves into. I'm very aware of who my audience is, and I know in the pet community, a lot of their audience are younger children. And the sad truth is if you can't drive and your parents don't want to take your animal to a vet, there's not much you can do but try to be with them for a peaceful passing. And that sucks, and no animal should have to go through that. I think the best way for an animal to die is like with their human and to be pet until the last second. But it's so hard if there is a treatment you can do, but your parents are denying it. There's really nothing you can do because you're powerless at that point. And I've decided that even myself, as someone who can drive, has their own car, and has a fairly-ish flexible schedule being in college. So I've decided that rescuing just isn't for me, and neither is rehoming. I got my rabbits from a breeder who, I guess by rabbit standard breeders, they are very reputable. I'm going to make a whole nother video about rabbit breeders, even though it'll kind of contradict what I'm saying here. But I haven't had any issues with my rabbits, and I know they're completely different species, but like I said, when you're buying rehomed animals, you don't have the care and the love that was put into an animal that you buy from a breeder. I've had my rabbits since 8 weeks old. I know every single part of their medical history, and my sugar gliders, I don't even know how old they are. And I'm not trying to tell you all what to do or act like I'm so much better than everyone, because I know that I'm not. I've obviously messed up somewhere for one of my gliders to be in this position. My point is being the person that I am and having the resources that I have, which being able to drive and have a car is a huge resource and a huge privilege that I'm so grateful for. But my point is that even if I have decided to stop rescuing, I think a lot of people who are younger than that and can't drive and they maybe don't have their parents' full support with their animal hobby, I think it's really important that you consider if rescuing or even buying animals rehomed is the right thing for you. The issue with rehoming is a lot of the times there are people who have taken amazing care of their animals and they just have a really unforeseen life circumstance where they have to rehome. But it's hard to know who is who, because the other half of rehoming are people who are almost worse than rescues because they don't want to surrender their animals to a rescue and they don't want to have it seen by a vet. They just want someone to take it off their hands and they want to make a little bit of money off of them. So it's really sad how animals are treated, but it's the reality and we can't be oblivious to it. If you guys want to criticize me or my sugar glider care, go ahead. I know I'm not the perfect sugar glider owner. I'm just doing the best that I can, and sometimes your best isn't good enough, and it's a really harsh truth to accept, but it's true in all aspects of life, and especially sucks when it comes to animals because they're living beings and they always deserve the best, and sometimes it feels like we aren't able to give them that. Can you guys hear them? They're making little chirping noises. But also, if you do find it in your heart to rescue and you decide that you are in a place like financially and like have the time to be able to do it, then I think it's such a beautiful thing. I always can like point out how different my rescue gliders act than the ones I got from breeders. Like even when I'm giving treats, my rescue gliders are so grateful and they will try to take as many treats from me as they can because they aren't used to getting treats all the time and they don't know when the next time they'll get treats is. But the ones I got from breeders, which I think this is great because obviously the breeder did a great job spoiling them. They kind of just treat treats like they're entitled to them and they're like, yeah, you better give me some. And they'll kind of just eat one at a time. And they'll be like, yep, I kind of expect there to be more when I'm done eating because you're going to keep feeding me because I'm adorable. Which, like I said, is a great characteristic to have because it means the breeder did a great job. I'm just trying to point out that the bond you have with rescued animals is completely different. I always say this, but I believe all animals who have been rescued know that they've been rescued and they will be so grateful for that. And I don't want to shy away from the fact that sadly there are some rescue animals that are just mentally not there, especially if they've been completely abused. That's a terrible situation, or a lot of the times, even if they've been taken well care of, or at least well by that person's standards, being completely abandoned and sent to a new family is devastating. There are so many children who have, like, don't be, like, maybe I should reword that. But my point is, like, when people adopt children and you can explain to children what's going on, there's still so many issues. And not saying adopted kids aren't good, but I'm just saying that when a human can have so many issues going from one human family to another human family, just imagine what an animal feels. An animal that you can't really communicate to and you can't explain, hey, this is what's going on. You're just tearing them away from everything they know and putting them in a completely new environment. And you can't expect that to be normal for them because it's not normal. I don't really know how to end this video. Like every way I do it feels really weird. Just keep Mocha in your thoughts and prayers. I really hope he pulls through. I'm trying to be optimistic, but I'm also trying to be realistic because I know he doesn't look good and I don't know. He just got so bad in less than 24 hours. I really hope he can make it till tomorrow morning and we can try to figure out something to do with him. But yeah, keep him in your thoughts and prayers. I don't even want to say thank you for watching and subscribe because that just feels so fake. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If you have your rescue animals, just make sure you love them extra hard because honestly, you don't know how long you have. And also, I always say this when it comes to animals, but just trust your gut. I feel like the animals that are meant to be with you find their way to you. So if you really feel like a rescue animal is calling your name, please don't be discouraged. There's a lot of people who have rescue animals that a lot of times live longer and live healthier than any animal you could buy from a breeder. Like mutts are an example of this, where a lot of times they're just way healthier than purebred dogs. I just want you guys to be wary of my experience, and I'll probably do an update to this video where I'm a little bit more concise in my thoughts, but I just wanted to share this with you guys, and if I can help anyone out, I would love to do that. So, bye. And I just wanted to show you guys all Mocha. I'm going to keep him with me so he's not alone if anything happens, but yep, that's how he's doing. Poor man. You're going to pull through, right? You're going to be okay? Oh, you're going to be okay. Latte's just staring at me like, what are you doing, woman? Please just let us sleep. You're so silly. Is this even your tail or is this someone else's tail? Whose tail is this? I don't even know. Okay. Mocha, say bye, everybody. Say I'm going to see you guys again soon. And say I'm going to be super strong and I'm going to fight whatever I have and I'm going to pull through, okay? Oh. Goodness, it just feels really weird to end this video, but I just want to say I never really said what was wrong with Mocha. He just, the past 2 days, he's been having really, not in the past 2 days, like 2 days ago he had very slight diarrhea in the past 2 days. Oh, he's trying to poop, but especially yesterday it was just so severe and I noticed that his tail was completely soaked, so he went to the vets this morning and he's on 2 different medications and a dewormer. We haven't done any tests because what they gave him should have covered everything, and honestly at the vets he didn't look that bad. He was alert, but I found him tonight, a couple hours ago, and he was just hanging on and he was cold, and I fed him some water and some yogurt on advice of a very experienced sugar glider owner, and he looks so much better now, which if I sound partially okay, it's because he honestly looks so much better than he did. Oh, There's him pooping his diarrhea. I guess here's a good time to stop.